it's Jasmine, and today I have an exciting video. I didn't know that you guys really wanted this video until you guys kept on telling me, I want to know more, I want to know more. So this is my highly anticipated self-help book pile accumulation, things that helped me with my feelings of anxiety and depression. And although I'm not technically diagnosed, I low-key don't want to be, I do get those very severe feelings. And as most of you guys know, I've been very open about how in the past I've had a lot of suicidal thoughts, a lot of self-doubt, and I think the whole 2018 I just said to myself, you know what, Jasmine, your New Year's resolution is to gain self-confidence. You need to love yourself more than you ever have. And I resulted to a lot of books. There are a lot more books in my mind that I will just verbally tell you guys, but these are the physical books that I want to mention. Now, if you know me, you know, if we go to school together or anything like that, you know for a damn fact I hate reading. I think English has to be one of my worst subjects, yet I excel in it at the same time. Very weird, but you know what? Nonetheless, I hate to read. But these books really help me fall back in love with the leisure reading. And so I wanted to start off with something a little bit more interactive. So I love these type of books. This one's called Adultish by Christina Vanko. And this is kind of like a Reckitt journal. I personally don't own a Reckitt journal, but this one is very similar to the point where it asks you questions, it tells you to draw things. So, for example, the page that I opened up to is this one right here. It says, a tribute to, and I wrote, my diffuser. And it says, what's the first household appliance that you really wanted? This page is a tribute to that amazing, life-changing object of your desire. So I drew my little diffuser, and I said, oh, where would I be without your beautiful scents? You calm me. And that is something that I really enjoy. It tells me, who did you freak out? I mean, who did you take along for the ride? And I put my two best friends, which is Jarell and Michaela, and just so many other questions that I just really enjoy in this book. And I feel like you guys would like it as well if you guys aren't in that mindset of, oh, I want to read for self-help, but I also don't want to color. I know a lot of people recommended that I color, but I personally don't like that. I would rather physically like draw something or write something out if something is asking me a question. So this is really nice and very therapeutic. By the way, these are not going in any particular order. I'm kind of just going in the pile as I go. But I actually bought this book today, and I really wanted to mention it because it's very similar to the Adultish book. This one is by Sarah Knight, and it's the Get Your Shit Together journal. And when I saw this, I initially saw this at Urban Outfitters, but I knew I did not want to buy it there because they jack up the prices. So I was just skimming through it like this, and I realized, hey, I think I might really like this. This is something that I would personally really enjoy. So it has a lot of little side notes on, for example, the power of negative thinking, and it tells you to write a goal for a certain amount of days, to color, and just doing things like 10 things I've done that weren't on my to-do list in order to procrastinate doing things that were. And then it said cut my cuticles, research various skin conditions that I might have, watch Ocean's 11 for the 15th time, engage in fruitless political debate on Facebook, etc, etc. This is probably one of the things that I'm most excited about to really dive into, and I'll just read you the back of this because I'm personally not familiar with this journal yet. So this says, whether you're stuck in a job or relationship you hate, overwhelmed by a million emails, or just in need of a little help along the way to world domination, the hardest part of changing your life is knowing how to start. That's where New York Times best-selling anti-guru Sarah Knight comes in. In this no-holds-barred, no-fucks-given journal, Sarah helps you figure out what you want, how to get started, and how to get it all done. That pretty much is what got me to buy this, and it was 14 bucks. Not that bad. By the way, most of these books that I purchased were either from Barnes & Nobles or from half-price books. If you can find half-price books store near you, I would highly recommend going there first because it's literally so good. Some of the books are even more than half price off, and it's just amazing. So for example, I have this one right here that I got from Half Price Books, and this is called The Life Manual. I got this one for $5. Such a good steal. Oof. And this I occasionally open from time to time, particularly because it's not just a self-help book through helping you mentally, but it's something that will help you physically. You know, we typically, well, especially here in the United States, we don't have things, we don't have classes that will help you learn how to plant plants or do adulting stuff. So this is the book for that. Reading the table of contents, starting with a clean slate, living in the moment, caring for your environment, caring for yourself and others, you are what you eat, help around the home, in the fresh air, so that's a gardening tip, DIY, how does it match up, etc., etc. And I know that kind of sounds really vague when I read it, but it pretty much gets you to be active and to do things that will not only help yourself but also help others around you. So right now I kind of just skipped to a random page, and this one is caring for your environment. So this has make do activities. There are a number of things that you can make from discarded odds and ends. They'll be fun to make with children and to play with. So a lot about recycling, how to recycle, great ideas to recycle, caring for yourself and others, simple health remedies. So if you get bites and stings, if you get blisters, if you get a wasp sting, cold sores, constipation, it's just everything that you need is literally in this book, and it is just so handy. That's the reason why I bought it. And like I said, periodically I will go into it and I'll just search what I need, and this is just so perfect. It's just so simple, so straight to the point, and it definitely is the life manual. I do see myself having this literally for my whole life because it's so useful. I stumbled upon this book organically when I was in Barnes & Noble's, and I picked it up because when I was reading the first maybe 5 pages of it, I was instantly hooked. I said, I need to have it, I need to buy it. This is something I can't just sit down in Barnes & Noble's and just read. This is probably one of the things that rekindled my love for poetry again. And as a kid, I loved poetry. I'm gonna hold up another poetry book that just brings me back to my childhood, but this is Adultolescence by Gabbie Hanna. Now, obviously I did read her name when I bought this, but I didn't realize it was the Gabbie show because I'm not totally in tune with her. Like, I'm not subscribed to her. I mean, I am now, but I'm not subscribed to her. I don't follow her on social media, so I didn't really get the connection that this was her book. And I even read the back, but I guess I didn't read the fine print on the bottom that says YouTube channel The Gabbie Show. So when I read this, I said, hey, you know, this is so me. It's so me in so many ways because she also is very open about her feelings and how she overcomes certain things like her weight loss journey and all that stuff. And throughout those videos in particular that I have watched, you know, you could see that she does stress out a lot, and you could see that she has a lot of struggles that she needs to overcome and that she is working on. So having a physical book to represent those feelings and to make it feel really organic and something that you can connect to, because at the end of the day, she's a YouTuber. We all watch YouTube videos. So it just feels so much closer, and I love that so much. I did talk more about this book in another video that I have on my channel called My Non-Beauty Favorites, and I talk, yeah, again, about more of these self-help books, and this book in particular a little bit more in depth. So if you want to hear a little bit more of my thoughts, definitely check that video out. But in shorter terms, I really enjoy this book because she is so articulate and I thoroughly enjoy it. She's so amazing. Her artwork is amazing. She drew everything that's in here, and let me find, that's my page. I need to save that page. I'm trying to find a really in-depth picture. So she drew this where it is like a head thinking of just being really sad, and then that is thinking of something really sad, and that is just so symbolic, and I love it so much. She's so good, and man, I highly, highly, highly recommend this if you have not at least picked it up and read a few pages. I really want you guys to read this because it's something that I feel like really kickstarted my way to becoming a little bit more self-confident. It made me feel like, oh, I'm not alone, and it definitely reassured me that I was sad and those feelings were valid, if that made any sense. Now, the other poetry book that I was referencing is the classic Shel Silverstein book. His poems, they're so iconic, literally the best. And I used to have like 3 of these, but I have no idea where they are. But I do have this one, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and I remember reading this every single day of my life when I was a kid. His poems just felt like stories to me, and I felt like they were a part of me. And I don't know what it is about poetry, but they're so good. I'm not into like poetry by like, what is his name? Robert, I don't know. You know the things that you read in AP English? Goodbye. No. Not for me, at least. I know one of my best friends, she is so in tune with that, but you know, for me, I love things with pictures. I love things with visuals, and I like things that are pretty much straight to the point, in your face, just have at it. And definitely anything Shel Silverstein, you need to buy, you need to get, you need to at least read it. It's a classic, and it's something that if you're not into reading and if you just want a book let you escape into the art of literature, then I would highly recommend this. You know, like I said, I'm not into reading, but just these are so amazing. Finally, the last book that I have is 100 Ways to Happiness. Again, I talked about this in the non-beauty favorites video, but just a synopsis of what I said. This is just an amazing book, and it's an amazing book, as I'm saying with everything. But I think that this is so unique because all of the content and all of the notes that, what is his name? Dr. Timothy J. Sharp tells you is all like one page. So it's very easy. This book is very small. So you are given sections. So 20 ways to happy habits, 20 ways to a happy body, 20 ways to a better relationship, 20 ways to a more positive mind, 20 ways to plan and create a happy life. So he just gives you all this advice in different sections. And like I said, they're all one page, or, you know, like a page like front and back. So like section 3 would be like just these 2 pages, and they're just so straight to the point, and that's what I love about it. And I think that is what differentiates this book with a lot of other specifically self-help books. And I know that poetry isn't so a self-help book, but it was to me, and it was something that helped rekindle that love and that joy, and that helped me bring, I shouldn't say bring, but it just helped cancel out the feeling of anxiety and depression that I had. But this is a true self-help book, and like I said, it does differentiate itself from other self-help books because it's not like a chapter book. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna have to read the whole book in order for me to understand all the concepts. It divides the concepts for you, and the table of contents is so specific, which is what I love. So for example, for section 1, the 20 ways to happy habits, you have it numbered 1 to 20, and it says redefine happiness, don't limit your potential, reduce the shoulds, have a happy hour, practice incremental change, etc., etc. So everything is so specific. So if you're feeling a certain way, you literally go to the table of contents and you figure out what you're feeling and how you can improve on that. And this is just so amazing. Again, I got this at half price books for $5. Such an amazing steal. And that pretty much concludes all the books that I have physically, but I also wanted to mention some other books just out loud, and that is my love for manga. And as most of you guys know, I love anime, I love manga, and just reopening my little, is it a bin? My little bin full of old manga, it just sparked something in me again, and I remembered how much I loved everything. I love connecting with characters, no matter what the genre is of that particular manga. My boyfriend asked me this question today. He said, why do you like manga so much? And I said, no matter what genre of manga you're reading, romance, fiction, fantasy, horror, you relate to a certain character so well. There is something in there that you just relate to. You're hooked onto it. And most importantly, I love pictures. And so just everything combined, it's just so therapeutic. I don't know, it gives me happiness and it gives me a way to escape my reality in a sense. Alright you guys, that was up this video. Hope you guys all really enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for recommending this video and encouraging me to talk more about it. Obviously, if I have anything else to say about these books, then I'll obviously tell you guys in the description box like I always do. And I think I'm pretty good with my collection, but if you have some dying requests that you think will help benefit me, then obviously please let me know. And that pretty much wraps it up, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.